Have you ever wondered what a career in marketing actually looks like? This week I'm sitting down with Rushenka Perera, VP of Marketing at SAP, one of the biggest tech companies in the world. She's breaking down what B2B marketing really involves, how AI is already changing her team, and why human connection is still everything. Let's get into it. Rushenka, thanks for joining the podcast today.
No worries.
We're discussing marketing. And I wanted to start off by asking you, when you were 17, was it something that was on your career path trajectory?
Absolutely not. No idea what I was going to do when I was 17. At that time, it was really choosing what subjects you wanted to do as it is now. And I just chose what I thought would appeal to me. I thought maybe journalism might be the way to go. Mass communication is all about advertising, TV, radio, and film. So that was interesting to me. And also I thought if I wanted to be a journalist, that was a good place to start.
So you went down the route of doing that at university. When you finished university, what was your path into marketing?
I emerged out of uni into a recession, which wasn't great. So pretty much had to take whatever job was available to me at the time. And I applied for marketing assistant type roles. And there was a role available at the law book company that got acquired by Thomson Reuters. That job was a marketing administrative assistant. So I grabbed that with both hands, and that's how I started my career.
Marketing is really broad and there's so many facets to it. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about your role that you're doing at the moment and your team around you?
I'm in what's called field marketing. So field marketing really owns the relationship with the customer and with the sales force on the ground. So field marketing's role generally is, from a B2B marketing perspective, business to business marketing, is to bring in pipeline to support the business. So that's the number one goal of field marketing. And then other goals obviously are in terms of building brand and also customer advocacy. So that would be the three main things that my team and I are charged with. But pipeline is number one goal, along with lots of other KPIs that you get to own when you're in field marketing, including one business and also progression of pipeline and lots of things around conversion rates, starting out from what we call a lead to what we now will call an opportunity before the deal closes.
So field marketing, what does that look like in terms of the day-to-day of what the team would do practically?
Yeah, so the one thing I do love about marketing and why I've stuck it out for so long is because it's really varied. So I don't do the same thing ever in one day. Marketing is not what everyone would think it is because, yes, there's a lot of creativity involved, but then there's a lot of analysis. The analytical work is really looking at what we've done and seeing how it's performed and whether we wanted to do that again or other ways in which we can segment the market that we're going after and then how we would go about that. So lots of reporting and drilling down into data. So that's every day is part of my job. Then there is obviously, as the team manager, it's managing the team, making sure that they are functioning to their optimal capacity. And then also doing a lot of the fun stuff, if you like. So it could be strategizing around how we actually run marketing for the next quarter, because based on the pipeline gap analysis, I see that there's a problem as an example, in New South Wales. So then what am I going to do to try and build a pipeline in New South Wales? So that's a short-term type strategy. And then I'm also doing long-term strategic planning in terms of how many activities we're running, what kind of activities they are, how they're going to progress from one to the other, and then how they're all going to be integrated in together. So as field marketing, I also have to work with regional marketing teams and global marketing teams. So there's a lot of communication back and forth on a daily basis between those teams as well. And then a lot of meetings. So meetings with all the stakeholders. Obviously, my team have their stakeholders, but I have, the MD for ANZ as an example. So keeping her up to date with where things are at, how I'm helping in terms of delivering on the goals for sales, and meetings in terms of the campaigns that we run, meetings with my team, and working with lots of agencies. So generally my team would run all of their activities, but I have some activities that I oversee, like our major events. So my events and sponsorship manager and I would be on lots of calls throughout the week on those major events, and I
Mm.
oversee that just to make sure, because there's a huge budget spend involved with those events, so to make sure
Yeah.
that they are running the way that we want them to.
Major events, how many of those would you be looking at every 12 months? Because they're a big event, interesting opportunity for marketing teams.
We run upwards of 200 events, usually about 250 events a year
Wow.
across all, Australia and New Zealand. And major events of those is probably around 10 that we
Okay.
would run a year.
Mm.
So in different solution areas or targeting different groups, for example, an executive type event or a big bang, our flagship event for the year, which is SAP Now, an event that targets around 800 people. So it varies in nature. An awards night, but there's a whole campaign around that awards night, rewarding our customers for implementing SAP, but lots of other digital activity around those awards. So it's not just events, it's also looking at how we can reward our customers, how we can get the word out about our customers in customer stories. It's paid advertising,
Yeah.
search, AI, all of that kind of thing as well.
So big role, big team. There are pressures that come along with that. What does that look like for you?
So the pressures are around those KPIs,
Yeah.
ensuring that we're on track for those, working very collaboratively with all of the different stakeholders, particularly sales, because field marketing needs to work closely with sales. They accept the leads that we provide and convert them into opportunities. And obviously, sales are the ones that close the business, that keep the lights on. That's our job to make sure that that's all ticking along. And then also in terms of SAP's brand, making sure that's front and center and is conveyed in the right way. And we are getting through to the new market segments or anything else that we think is important at that time.
AI is becoming a big thing across most industries, and there's a lot of technology players now in marketing space. How do you see AI playing out within your field? How are you using it, and how do you think the future may differ?
SAP obviously is a leader in AI. So we have lots of agents that have been created for use within our solutions. Are not yet using all of those as yet, but there are things, for example, that will help lighten the load from a marketing perspective. We have a solution called Crystal Ball, which looks at what customers are intending to do. So if they're a prospect, have they been downloading our information? Have they been interacting with us in some other way? So looking at those intent signals from across the different digital media and our websites, understanding what those signals are, marrying it with our solutions, and then AI tells us which customers have more propensity to buy, and therefore we should be targeting.
Okay.
So that's one
Mm.
example. I think AI is fantastic. It's helping us in terms of a lot of the reporting piece, helps my team in terms of creativity. So if we're producing a banner ad, for instance, we can ask AI to create it in multiple dimensions. That was difficult to do before, where we had to start from scratch every time. Now AI will
Mm.
do that for us in whichever formats we desire. And it also helps in terms of doing everyday tasks. So, we run a meeting, it summarizes the main points of the meeting. If I want to get the main points of a meeting into a PowerPoint, it'll do that for me. All of that is saving a lot of admin work. Where I see it adding a lot of value in particular is really with the analysis piece. So I said before,
Mm.
that's a big part of marketing, looking at where the sweet spots are, but also doing a lot of data analysis for us. So the heavy lifting, which I basically used to get interns to do, which is, doing things like data matching and trying to find information on customers. So account-based marketing, fantastic to find out customer profile information, find out contact details, what's going to get them excited about dealing with SAP, how we can actually activate campaigns that are actually going to resonate with them. AI makes all of that a whole lot easier. AI is only one piece of marketing, and I see that marketing is mostly about relationships and building those relationships, particularly from a field perspective.
Mm.
And you're not going to get AI to be able to do that. If you want to relate to someone, you've got to relate to them on a human level. We humanize everything that we possibly can at SAP from a marketing perspective because we understand that that emotive reasoning is what makes humans tick. And therefore, that is what is going to differentiate humans from AI. And marketing really needs to be making sure that we're getting those touches with real customers and that the customers are feeling things around what SAP is able to deliver for them. AI can't do that. Well, not yet anyway.
Not yet. Not for a while. And I think that's something that's loud and clear that I'm hearing from a lot of people across a lot of industries when they talk about AI. It's the human element that remains really important and becoming more important as AI starts to scale more and more and more. Like most roles within any industry, there's generally part of the role that people might admire from a distance and think, wow, that is really cool. But in reality, it might be a little bit different. And the way that I talk about that is there's always a cost to every role. What's the cost in your role?
I think it's really around the amount of time that you need to spend doing your job.
Mm.
We work in tech. Tech is a fast-paced industry. Things constantly change. So we are, I suppose, always on. I deal with teams in Europe, North America, in India. So all three different time zones means that I sometimes have to be on from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed. Not everyone does that, but that is my personal cost.
Mm.
There's also travel involved. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of travel. I've held other roles where I've managed teams across Asia, Pacific, Japan. I would be jet setting all around the world.
Yep.
And then the stress. So you are dealing with lots of demands on you. And as I talked before about KPIs, those are always hanging over your head. And often they're tied to some sort of bonus incentive. So if you want to make your bonus or overachieve on your bonus, then those KPIs come into play.
On the flip side, what's the payoff? What are the great things about marketing?
The variety of marketing is really broad. I don't sit down for long periods of time because I'm in meetings, I am out on sites, I'm with my agencies, I'm running an event. So it's really varied. And I love the people I work with. Finding a role that is really one that matches with your values is
Yeah.
important. And if you find an organization that is able to allow you to be yourself, I think that's really important.
We're at the tail end of our conversation. So I'd like to tie things up just with a fast final five. So we'll kick that off. What has your career taught you about yourself?
It's taught me to be bold. So when you're young, you don't always try things out. You don't always try to aspire to do things that you may not think that you can. So it's taught me that you really need to put yourself out there. Be bold in your thinking and in trying new things. The other thing is to network. As you get older, you realize the people who can help you in your career, people that you have worked with and you have a genuine rapport with, that is invaluable. So the networking aspect in particular, when I was younger, I was much shyer. Hard to believe, I know. So I didn't really leverage that network as much. But as you get older, you realize that it's important to make sure that you're investing the time to build out your network. And not just for your purposes of getting ahead. Your network can provide lots of guidance, direction, advice. You can actually have some of them as your mentors. You can bounce ideas off people and also get new career opportunities.
Yeah, so true. What's one mistake or challenge that has taught you a really important lesson?
Not to be so gullible. So when you're young and impressionable, often people will tell you things and you often, well, I did, will believe them. And then you find out later that they had other motivations. So I would always question things. And often your gut is actually a good way to go in terms of listening to what it's telling you, because if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, then don't do it.
What skill do you think is going to matter the most in the future?
The important thing is going to be how personable you can be.
Mm.
So how you can actually make people understand your value. I have lots of brand values myself that I adhere to. And one of those is always delivering on what I say I'm going to do. So if you can show people that you can do that, that is going to be really good for you in terms of your career.
Mm. What excites you most about where marketing is heading?
It's actually a little bit scary where marketing is heading. I'm sure you're all hearing about how AI is going to take over. There's not going to be any real jobs for anybody. So one thing I do know from being in marketing is that there's a lot of strategic thinking involved. There's a lot of creativity involved. I spoke before about humanizing everything. So those are areas where humans can really shine. So that's, I think, really important from a marketing perspective. But as I said before as well, the AI can really help with all of the data analysis, etc. It makes the marketing actually fine tunes it. So you're able to be much more targeted. But what I think is really exciting about marketing is that there's going to be more ways of actually engaging with people in a way that resonates with them that AI will help us deliver. The
Mm.
other thing that you need to remember about AI is that it's drawing on past history. It's drawing on data that already exists. So AI also has its limitations in terms of not being able to have original thought. You can get all of the information about all these fantastic ideas that are already in the market. But if
Mm.
you have something that's an original idea, it's not already there. You can't use that because it doesn't have that data.
Lastly, what advice would you have given your 20-year-old self?
I think it's really to take the chance. Think about ways that you can vary your career. You don't have to be confined to one industry. You can move around. You might decide to be a florist one day. Do that as well. It doesn't matter. Just do what is important to you. There are different times in your life which you will have different objectives. You've got to manage those objectives according to the timeline in which you are in. And think about what's important to you at that time. So if family is more important to you at that time, prioritize family. If your career is more important to you, then prioritize career. It's important to do what you want to do. Life is short, and if you don't do that, then you will miss out and have regrets. And my philosophy is never to have regrets.
Live in the moment.
Exactly.
Well, Rushenka, it's been great to have you on the podcast. Thank you very much for the last 20 minutes.
Thanks for inviting me.